handprints on the wall and painting pictures of bisons, we've gone to being able to write, and then to print, and then to be able to broadcast through the radio and telephone and the television, radio, all these things. Just come on right up to the internet, where now people are communicating without even looking at one another.
Right.
Which is awfully damn close, excuse me, to just being able to telepath. So that would be the next step in our ability to communicate with one another. And that step, that jump, happens historically during the Venus passage.
Wow.
This is going to freak people out, you understand. But you also understand, people, that this whole cycle is about ethics. Ethics. That truth that wells from within yourself. Your own personal integrity. And the way to have safe telepathy is to be in integrity, people.
Yes.
That's where this is. It's a forced play. It's not something that you either do or don't do.
Right.
It's a forced deal. And to make it through, each person has to stand in their own integrity and follow their own truth.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But the more substantive fact you can pin on your truth, the more solid it is. That's why I've done all this study.
Oh, yes. This thing, I can't help but think about politics, because in one sense, I guess the better word would be society. And it's hard to skirt around politics as I start to see this play out. And as Ian is describing these things, I imagine that would be the arena where it certainly would play out. I mean, what would it look like if people... Well, we're already starting to shift, and I believe just since January we've regained our voice, many of us, on what we believe to be right and just and coming from a place of truth and integrity. We're no longer fearful, at least most of us, of being Dixie-chicked. And it's that kind of scenario I think might play out in many areas. Am I on the right track, Ian?
Exactly right. Thank you, Mitch. Those are great examples. And I believe that people are finding their spine in many ways.
Yeah.
In the court systems, all across this country, people are standing up to the corruption of the courts.
Yes.
And complaining and writing newspaper articles and editorials. There's more and more of this happening. And it looks horrible on the surface because all of this is being disclosed.
Yes.
But it's been going on the whole time, people. It's just now that you're starting to be able to pay attention to it. And that's just the people listening to this program. That's not the people you work with. They wouldn't be listening to this.
Right.
You know, they got a TV dinner waiting at home. And I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is.
Do you expect any to shift just for a few minutes on the physical part? Do you expect any shifts cosmically, other than Venus coming through? Do you?
Oh yeah, you were touching on it earlier. I also mentioned that there was this acceleration of consciousness going on.
Yes.
And the faster that things happen, the more can happen in any particular given time. You know, if you have a bowl full of with 3 marbles in it, there's just 3 colors. But you pour 50 marbles in the same bowl, there's more possibilities.
Oh, yes.
Well, that's what's happening all around us. That's why things look so frantic.
Yes.
But what that means is that more good things can happen and more bad stuff can happen.
Yes.
More things that are completely beyond our imagination, both goodly and badly.
Yes.
One of the badlies is that we're probably moving into an area of space. Because remember, we're not just going around the sun. The sun is also in an orbit at this end of the galaxy arm.
Yes.
Around the Pleiades. And then we're all moving around the galaxy every 250 million years. So everything out there is moving, and we're getting into space that we've never been before.
Yes.
I mean, we've always been doing that. But you ever seen a meteor field?
Oh, sure, of course.
You know?
Yes.
Well, if there can be a meteor field out there, then what's the possibility that we're moving into one?
Well, I must say that, and I mean this, folks, scientifically, and backed up by many amateur astronomers, that the count of asteroid and comets have increased sharply, and of course that is to factor in that we can see things better. In other words, we have better technology, better telescopes, and well, I was going to say more eyes to the sky, but no, that's not true at all. I think there's probably fewer eyes to the sky than ever before.
But you know what? We got more galactic consciousness.
Yes.
That's what it is. I mean, for crying out loud, this guy rented a scope from Denmark or somewhere and happened to just find this comet?
That's
Come
right.
on. This is consciousness, baby. This is magic. And it's all around us.
Oh boy, I wish you didn't mention that word magic. I just saw a CNN report about 3 hours ago. Oh, I hope not. Bring me back to the topic, Ian, but let me just finish this one thought because of this word magic. Due to the movie The Passion, I think it was a CNN report just a few hours ago, they were monitoring people who were experiencing miracles, and I'm equating this idea with miracles and magic, and it may or may not be related to the movie. I saw the movie. I could see how it certainly could be related to the movie. But wouldn't it be interesting, Ian, if we started to see mystical events unfolding? Well, let me put it another way. Do you believe we will begin to see our reporting of miracles, if you will, begin to unfold?
Absolutely. You see, the miracles we hear about are technological ones. You know, we've got used to that now. I mean, look at the size of your watch. It's like we've got lots of technological marvels. So what's the next level of marvels to bring to consciousness? But ones that aren't explainable by science.
Oh, yes.
And yet totally natural to each person who experiences it.
Yes.
So that kind of thing is all part of the realm of possibility. For instance, let's say that we are running into a meteor field. Well, that would pretty well wipe everything out, wouldn't it? Unless consciousness evolved to a point where they could actually change their situation.
Well,
and that kind of thing, with the ability to telepath, all consciousness, focused on one reality or another.
Did the Mayans ever hint to that? Did they ever actually experience that themselves?
I believe that they did, before the fall of their civilization. And they had predicted the fall of their civilization, by the way. They had a different kind of consciousness than we have, and so it's very difficult to imagine theirs. But they saw completely different things in the sky. They had this deeper understanding, which we now are appreciating. They had a deeper understanding of creation, and a tremendous amount of their knowledge was lost.
Yes.
And the burnings of all their books by the Spanish.
Yes.
So it wasn't until now, and now we understand, of course, that this is exactly the time it was supposed to happen, that this information come forth.
Yes.
And